What if your inbox could read, understand, and reply to your customers automatically and only bother you when it's unsure on how to reply? In this video, we are taking our email assistant to the next level. It classifies messages, stores everything in a local database, sends confident replies automatically, and keeps checking your inbox every 5 minutes on autopilot. In part 1, we connected to Gmail with IMAP, fetched unread emails, and generated AI-powered draft replies. But this time we're taking things to the next level by adding automation, intelligence, and persistence. If you haven't watched part 1, I'm going to add a link somewhere on the screen, and then you can go and watch this out so you can understand how to connect your Gmail account to IMAP and how to fetch all the emails programmatically. So the first step is to create a new project in PyCharm. So I've created a project called Automated Email Support Agent. And now this project has more files compared to the project in part 1. So we've got index.html, we've got logs.html, app.py, emails.db, which is our local SQLite database for storing all the emails. We've got keys.py, and then we have knowledgebase.txt and models.py. So we're going to start by reviewing app.py, and we're only going to take a look at the functions and elements that differ from the video in part 1. So you can see that at the top we have defined some constants like auto confidence threshold, which is set to 80%. Then we have auto categories, and then we have defined some categories for the emails that we would want to reply to automatically. So we've got price request, repair inquiry, and appointment request. So what happens next is we have this function which is called classify email and reply. So this function takes an email body as an argument, and what happens with this email body is basically we want to pass it to our prompt and classify this email accordingly to based on our categories. So again, we start with a system prompt. And if you remember in part 1, we defined this prompt, which basically explains to the AI how it should work and how it should reply to the emails that we receive. And now we're adding some additional information towards the end of this prompt, and we're saying, okay, here is the list of possible categories. So we've got again repair inquiry, price request, appointment request, and then other. And then what OpenAI is going to do is it's going to classify our email based on one of those categories, and it's going to return a valid JSON. And you can see we're telling OpenAI how to classify this email and how to reply to us. And it's going to return a confidence basically number, so from 0 to 1. And then it's going to provide a suggested reply as well. And we're also passing the knowledge base, because if people are asking about some general information about our store, like what services we provide, what's the opening hours, then what we do is, again, we just send this prompt to OpenAI and we use GPT-4o Mini, and once we get the response back, then this time we need to parse the response, because now it's going to contain some more information, such as the category of the email, and then we need to basically parse the confidence. So if we have high confidence over 80%, then obviously we're going to take an action, and this is going to happen in the next function, and then we process the reply as well. And we also have this exception handling, just to make sure that if OpenAI returned data in the wrong format and we don't know how to parse it, then we basically default the category to other, and then we set the confidence to 0, and then this is the draft reply. And then we've got this function which is classify emails, and what this is doing is basically it's iterating over the list of unread emails, and then we're checking to see if we have already processed that email in our database, and if we did that, then we just skip that. And after this, what we do is we're calling this function classify email and reply, and this is the function that we literally just looked at. And what this is going to return is it's going to return classification, which contains different values. So you can see it contains category, confidence, and reply. And what we do on the next 3 lines is we basically extract each individual piece of information from this dictionary. So we've got category, confidence, and reply. And here what we say is basically if the category of this email is one of the categories of interest that we've defined at the top, and if the confidence of this email is higher than or equal than 80%, which means that OpenAI has high confidence that the email that it just processed fits into one of our categories, then it's going to give us like a high confidence. And if this is the case, then we're going to send an email automatically. So we as business owners don't need to do anything, and this script is automatically going to send a reply to our customers. And as you can see in here, we're basically passing the recipient's email address, the subject, and then the draft reply. And what we do is we set the action to auto send. This is just so we can see later on that we have automatically replied to this email. And after this, we're just adding this email to the list of classified emails. And if the category or the confidence is not high enough, then we have this else block, and we just set the draft reply, and we say that this email fits into the unprocessed emails. And after this, what we do is for each email, irrespective if it fits into one of our categories or if it doesn't, we save a copy of this email into our database. And you see that we have an object which is called email log, and then it contains various parameters. So we extract the message ID, the sender, the subject, the body, and then we also add the category, the confidence, the draft reply, and also the action. And what we do is we basically save this into our database. So I'm going to show you how this looks. So if we go to models.py, then you can see that we've defined our basically database object in here, and this is basically a class, and then we store all the different emails into a table called email logs, and you can see all the different parameters that this object has. And we've created one small helper function here which is called toDict, and what this is doing is basically it's fetching all the important information that we need for each email from our database, and then this information will be used to basically display the emails on our dashboard. So next, what we're going to look at is the index route. So the index route in this video differs from the index route in part 1. And this is because we need to perform a few more steps to get all the unprocessed emails and how to basically display all of those into our dashboard. So first what we do is we call the function to fetch all the unread emails from our Gmail inbox. And once we've done that, then we call the function to classify the emails. And what this is going to do is it's going to send automated replies to the emails that fit into one of our categories and it has a high confidence percentage. And all the unprocessed emails will be the emails for which the AI is not sure on how to reply to. And for the unprocessed emails, we go through them and we extract the email IDs of those emails. And basically in here we're doing some filtering. So let's see what happens. So basically we just want to make sure, so what we're doing in here is we're fetching all the emails from the email log table, and we're saying, okay, if we haven't sent an automated reply to the emails, then just give me all those emails. And this is to make sure that we display all the emails to which we haven't replied on the dashboard, so that when a business owner opens this dashboard, they can see all the emails for which they need to provide a custom response. And so once we have fetched all the emails to which we haven't replied, then we extract the information from each email, and this is the function that we looked at just a moment ago. So it extracts the ID, the sender of the email, subject, body, and then we have the sample reply. So you can see that in render template we've got two different variables. So we've got emails, and then emails is actually the unprocessed emails that come from classified emails, plus all the skipped emails from our database. So when the users, or let's say when a business owner refreshes the dashboard, then there can be a case where we've just classified some emails, and we also have some unprocessed emails, and we also had some skipped emails from a previous run. And this is to make sure that we display all the relevant emails to which we haven't replied to. And we also have something called logs, and then this basically assigns the email logs to this variable. And this is just the full list of all the emails in our database, and then we only take the first 50 records. And then the next route we're going to look at is the logs, and this is another page which literally displays the email logs for our emails, and then it displays the email logs just for the first 200 emails. So what we can do next is we can run our application, and then we can test it by sending a few sample emails and just see how the classification works and how it actually sends emails automatically. So our application is up and running now, and we can go to our Gmail account. So let's see. Okay, so I've got two Gmail accounts, and then this is the email account from which I'm going to send some emails. And we want to send an email to this email address. And then let's say that we have a problem with our screen. Hi, I have a broken laptop screen. Can you help me with this? And let's say regards, Martin. So this email should fit into one of our categories, and this means that we should get an automated reply without doing anything. So now I'm going to send this email, and let's see what's going to happen. So once we receive the email in this inbox, so let's just give it a few seconds. So there you go. So we received this email. So now what we need to do is we just need to refresh the page for our dashboard. And what this is going to do is it's going to trigger the logic for classifying all the unread emails. And in our case, we have one unread email, and then this email should fit into one of our categories for automated replies. So if I just refresh our dashboard, let's see what's going to happen. So, okay, here is our dashboard, and as you can see, we don't see the email on the first page, which means that the email was successfully processed, and we also sent an automated reply. And if we go to view detailed logs, what this is going to do is it's going to show us all the emails and all the different categories in our database. So you can see that today's date is 28th of October, and you can see at 8:11 we basically sent an email to this person, and you see that the subject of the email was problem with the screen, and then the category, so it automatically assigned the category repair inquiry. The confidence was 100% or just 1, and you can see the action is set to all to send. So now we can just go back to our Gmail inbox. You can see that this email no longer appears as unread. And you can see that in our second Gmail account, we've got one email. And if I come to this and open it, you can see that we've received an automated reply to our email, and this reply contains information based on the knowledge base that we have defined. So you can see that it specifies the actual price for fixing laptop screens, and it also tells you how long it takes. And last but not least, it recommends a visit to our shop and then to book an appointment. And this is exactly coming from our knowledge base. So if I just quickly open this, so let's see, so screens. So you can see pricing and policies. So you can see laptop screen replacement. It starts from $120. And here you've got all the different information about our store, like basically how much it takes for each repair, and the price, and all that kind of stuff. You also have some business information, the location of the store, opening hours, phone, email, website. So now what we can do is we can send another email, and then this email will be one that is not going to fit into our categories. So let's say, hi, how are you? And yeah, so this email shouldn't be classified because it's just like a very generic question. So let's just give it some time so it arrives in this inbox. Okay, so the email is here. So now what we need to do is we just need to refresh our dashboard. So once we do this, then we should see our email. So yeah, there you go. So this is the latest email that we received. And since this was not classified to any of our free predefined categories, then what is going to happen is this email is going to be visualized on the dashboard, and it requires manual reply. So we already have a draft reply here, and then business owners can actually modify this however they want. And once they press on send reply, then this is going to actually send the email. So we can just click on send reply now, and you can see this is giving you some feedback here, and it should be done in the next few seconds. Yeah, there you go. So email sent successfully. So now if we go back to our emails, you can see that we have one unread email in this inbox. And if I open this, then you can see that this is the exact message which was sent manually. And if we come to the logs, and if I refresh the logs page, you can see that we basically send a reply to this email, and we marked this as manually sent. So you notice that if we want to classify emails, we need to manually refresh the dashboard, so it triggers the functions to classify the emails and send them. So what we're going to look at now is some functionality that runs every 5 minutes, And what it does is it fetches all the unread emails, it classifies them, and then if they fit into one of our categories, then some automated replies will be sent. So this script is like just 20 lines or 15 lines long. And yeah, you can see we're importing time, we're importing threading, and then the check interval is 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes. And we're creating this background worker, and we have like continuous while loop. And what this does is it's fetching all the unread emails from our inbox. It classifies the emails, and as you know, when you call classify emails, it's going to send automated replies to the ones which fit into one of our categories, and it's going to put everything else into the unprocessed bucket. And finally, we just leave for 5 minutes before we do the same operation. And in order to start thread, what you need to do is you just say threading.thread, then you pass this background worker function, then you set this daemon to true, and finally you just call the thread. And when you leave this running, it's going to basically call this function every 5 minutes. And yeah, so it's going to do all the work for you. If you found this video useful, please like it and subscribe to the channel. If you want to get access to the code behind this video, then you can join my school community. The link should be down below in the description. It's completely free to join and you don't need to pay anything. Thank you very much for your time and see you in the next video.